Am I stupid for never hurting that? Never hurting that? Am I stupid for never have had heard that? Am I an imbecile for not ever having heard anyone say that the reason why Rich did so well on the last day of the games was because he was fat adapted? What I always heard is because that's when Dave and crew rolled out the CrossFit workouts, and that's, you know, kind of tongue in cheek, but that's what Rich was best at, is CrossFit, and the rest of the shit was just kind of a build up to CrossFit. I've never heard this fat adapted. Is that, have you heard
Look at Rich and look what he just did
with all the gummy bears?
No, but the race across the sky, you know, when he's.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the 24-hour rowing he did where he ate 300 pounds of gummy
No, I'm
bears.
talking about what he really did with the Leadville 100 mountain bike race over the summer.
Yeah.
That is one of the most difficult events in the world.
Wow.
And to break 12 hours is a remarkable achievement for any athlete. Rich Froning, in some way, somehow, did gold star worthy performance. It was shocking in that he went under 9 hours. 9 hours is beyond elite for a cyclist, and yet he somehow did it. Now, I'm saying he went like 8.5 hours. That is an endurance time domain. That is a long distance time domain. In order for Rich Froning to be successful, he had to become more fat adapted. Had to. No, Rich Froning is also, again, it's a student of the game, like we were talking about with Matt. When you know, so I've been, you know, lucky enough to work with Jeff Adler for 2 years, and Jeff Adler, I mean, what a stud!
What a stud! Crazy.
What he did.
Focused machine, mental giant, I think.
Look at that. So when you break 9 hours, you get a big belt buckle. That's your prize.
That's why he did it, right? He wanted the belt buckle.
But it's the big belt buckle, and he went and said, "I'm going sub 9." Like I've trained.
He said it.
I've trained Matt and Sheree Chan to do that, and their goal straight out, it was to break 12 hours, and they did. They both broke 12 hours. For Rich to get that buckle, it's every single. What I love the most is there's nobody within CrossFit at the elite level that compares themselves to a specialist like a cyclist. It's just not done. Like, for example, this year in the cross country run, there is nobody that I've ever worked with that would take their time and go, "Oh, I wonder how it compares to a collegiate runner," because it's not even remotely in the same range. It's like, you know, Matt Fraser was a great runner. Jeff Adler is the best runner I've ever worked with.
Wow.
He wouldn't make a good high school cross country team. And so they just don't do it. But you know what does happen is that when Rich does something like that, the cyclists look and go, "Oh my, look what happens to a guy that dedicates 6 months to our sport and what he was capable of doing." It shows the versatility of these athletes. If Rich Froning decides to lose, you know, let's say 85 pounds, I think I could get him to run sub 210 for a marathon.
Wow.
You know, he's just too big. He's too big to move that weight, right? That power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
Weight in the sport of running, it matters. You know,
I wonder if Rich could get down to 160, 150.
No, I'm talking about one under 120.
Yeah. Yeah, because this other guy was 5'10", 137. I wonder how skinny Rich could get.
Right. So my Ironman weight was, you know, I'm 5'11" and I was 145. I mean, that's to do. So weight matters. Like, you know,
if he got down to that, if he did something crazy like that, he'd probably never recover, right? He'd never bounce back from that.
Because it's not, I mean, even like when he was saying about the training, it was because of calorie consumption on bike rides. You know, he'd be out there for 5 hours. It's hard to maintain weight. Like, but when I did triathlons, and I was training 6 hours a day for a minimum of 5-6 days a week. And I would drink, it was called Exceed. It was a complex carbohydrate powder that you would mix with a liter of water, and it was 1,000 calories. And I would have 3 of those a day because I couldn't eat enough food. It's just too hard to chew and eat. And so, but I'll kill you a
And that's
cool
what
little,
Charlie Lawrence must have been drinking when he ran the 50 miles, right? That's when he says he drank carb drinks. He was drinking something like that, Exceed,
yeah,
right?
but it's way more advanced now. I mean,
Oh,
there's
okay, okay.
products out
It's
there
not powder
that,
you stir in these
well,
days.
it's absorption, but it's the absorption rate. And what they found is a unique concoction between the percentage of glucose, sucrose, and fructose increases the absorption rate more than just having one.
Okay.
And that's the thing, is that sport has become very sophisticated as to squeeze out more performance.
Right.
Like marathon runners, it is well known in the marathon elite community that they intentionally dehydrate themselves during the marathon to lose weight. And it's not uncommon to lose, 8-9 pounds of water weight during that marathon. And the risk of underperforming due to dehydration doesn't outweigh the benefit of losing that sprung weight. And like, for example, when you do a VO2 max test, they are